Welcome back, Life Groups, and thank you so much for gathering today. We are discussing a story out of John chapter 9, and this story begins when Jesus and his disciples encounter a blind man. And the disciples ask Jesus a question. They ask him, who sinned? This man or his parents that he would be born blind? But Jesus answered, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but all of this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. Essentially, Jesus is confirming that, yes, bad things happen to good people. This idea that pain isn't always a result of sin, and in fact, sometimes God allows pain to happen so that he can be glorified in and through the pain. And some of the most unexplainable hurts in life, some of these things may have happened for the sole purpose that God would be glorified. God can be glorified through all the pain if we allow it. So back to the story in John chapter 9, Jesus uses a very creative way to heal this blind man. First, he spits on the ground and makes mud, and then he puts the mud on the man's eyes and goes and tells him to wash off in the pool of Siloam. And so the man went and washed, and he came back healed. But then the Pharisees got involved because they were the keepers of the law. They were the religious elite, and this man was healed on the Sabbath. And they asked the man how he received his sight, and he told them the entire story. But the Pharisees didn't necessarily believe him, and so they talked to his parents, but his parents were afraid of these Jewish leaders. And so for a second time, they interviewed the man who had been healed, and he replied, whether this man is a sinner or not, I'm not sure. I don't know, but one thing I do know, I was blind, but now I see. And as we can see from the story, Jesus causes very, very strong emotions. He elicits strong emotions from people. Pastor Brandt talked about 4 responses. The Pharisees were mad because they failed to see the power of Jesus. The friends and the neighbors that you'll read about in John chapter 9, they were intrigued and they sought answers as to why this man was healed. The parents, as we just talked about, were scared and they fell into this self-preservation mode, and the blind man himself that was healed, he developed a passion to share what had happened to him. And if I had to guess, and I think if we're honest with ourselves and honest with each other, that we've probably found ourselves, maybe even currently or at one point or another, having one of these 4 responses. Maybe you are mad because the healing hasn't come, or it didn't come in the way that you wanted or had hoped for. Maybe you're in a bad place right now, and God seems to be an easy target to blame. I can relate with that. Maybe you're intrigued and you've come to the realization that you don't have all the answers, or maybe you're wondering what all of this faith thing looks like. Maybe you're scared of what people will think if you dig into your faith, or you're scared of what the repercussions of that will be, or what the price may be. Will I lose friends? Will I be rejected by my family? I mean, maybe you're scared. Or maybe you see this season as an opportunity to share your faith, to help others see things from an eternal perspective, even with the unknowns and all the uncertainties. Just know that God can use your pain, He can use your hurt, He can use the bad things that are happening for His glory if we allow it. Enjoy your discussion today.